Brahmavaivarta Purana, Part 1. Om Shakti Hrim Namah Shivaya, Om Klim Krishnaya. There was a forest known as Naimisha. Shaunaka and several other sages had assembled in the forest. While the sages were resting, Suti, the son of Ramaharshana, arrived on the scene. Suti was tired after a long journey. He greeted the sages and rested for a while. Suti, said Shaunaka, we are thirsting for knowledge. You are well versed in the Puranas. Please recite for us the knowledge that is the most sublime. I will gladly do so, replied Suti. I will recite for you the Brahmavaivarta Purana. In this text is captured the essence of all the other Puranas. For those with the desires, it grants fruits. For those who want liberation, it grants freedom. It is called the Brahmavaivarta Purana because in it Krishna rendered a complete account of a Brahma. Krishna gifted the knowledge of this text to Brahma. From Brahma the knowledge passed on to the god Dharma, Yamaraja, at the Tirtha, place of pilgrimage known as Pushkara Dharma, imparted the knowledge to Narayana, his son. Narayana gave it to the sage Narada, and Narada passed on the knowledge to Vedavyasa on the banks of the sacred river Ganga. Vedavyasa taught the Purana to Suti, and Suti would now recount it for Shaunaka and the other sages assembled in Naimisharanya forest. I will recite for you all 4 parts of the Brahmavaivarta Purana. Continued Suti. In the first part, the creation of gods and men is discussed. The second describes the nature of gods and goddesses and the ways in which they should be worshipped. It also describes the various heavens and hells and the cures for different diseases. The third part relates to the birth of the god Ganesha, gives to him and his conversation with the sage Phrigu. The fourth part relates primarily to Krishna's birth and deeds. At the time of destruction there existed only a vast mass of incandescent. The 3 volts Triloka were swallowed up in the heart of this energy. The 3 volts are Bhurloka, Bhuvarloka and Svargaloka. Bhurloka is the S, Svargaloka is the heaven, and Bhuvarloka is the region between S and heaven. The time of destruction the 3 volts are destroyed, but the regions that are beyond the 3 volts are not destroyed. Above the 3 volts were the regions known as Vaikuntha-loka, Shiva-loka, and Goloka. At the time of creation, all 3 were vast and wonderful, bright and ornamented. Vaikuntha-loka is inhabited by Lakshmi and Narayana at the time of creation, but at the time of destruction is completely empty. Similarly, Shiva-loka is void at the time of destruction, and it is populated by Shiva and has attendants at the time of creation. Goloka is, however, inhabited by Krishna both at the time of creation and at the time of destruction. Goloka is filled with the light, and a wonderful bejeweled form can be seen within this light. This form is dressed in yellow and carries a flute. Its body is daubed with sandalwood paste. It wears the jewel Kaustubha, and on its chest it bears the sign of Shivasa. The form is seated on a throne set with a precious stone, and wears a crown studded with the gems. But it wears a garland made of white flowers. It is perennially useful and always in the garb of a cowhead. This form is a Brahman, also known as the Paramatman, the divine soul. The Brahman is everlasting. The actual act of creation took place as follows. The world was dark and empty, without water and without air. Krishna looked around him and desired to create. Thus it was that creation began, from Krishna's volition. From Krishna's right there emerged Narayana. He was the embodiment of the quality guna of trust and righteousness, sattva guna. Narayana carried a conch shell, shankha, a blade discus, chakra, a mace, gada, a lotus, padma, the jewel, kaustubha, and a bow, sharanga. This bow was made of horn. Since the word shringa means horn, the bow was known as sharanga. Narayana wore a vanamala or garland of white flowers. His form was that of a dark shyama youth with the forearms and the mark of a Shivasa on his chest. Narayana sang Krishna's praises, and then at Krishna's command took his seat on the bejeweled throne that stood before Krishna. Shiva now emerged from Krishna's left. He was embodiment of the quality of evil and darkness, tamaguna. Shiva held a trident, Trishula, in his hands. He had 3 eyes, and the crescent moon adorned his matted hair. There was a lotus at Krishna's navel, and from this emerged Brahma. He was the embodiment of the quality of passion, rajas. Brahma had the form of an aged man, white of hair. He was dressed in white clothes. He had 4 faces, and he carried a long spotted water pot, kamandal, in his hand. Both Shiva and Brahma sang Krishna's praises. At his behest, they seated themselves on bejeweled thrones that stood before Krishna. From Krishna's chest there emerged Dharma. He was the god of righteousness. Dharma is identified with Yama, the god of death. From Krishna's mouth emerged Saraswati, the goddess of learning. She was dressed in white, and she carried a veena and book in her hands. From Krishna's mind emerged the golden complexioned goddess of wealth, known as Mahalakshmi or Lakshmi. She is known as the Svarga Lakshmi in heaven, as Raja Lakshmi among kings. From Krishna's thoughts emerged Durga, the goddess of battle. She carried all sorts of lesser weapons. Dharma, Saraswati, Lakshmi, and Durga all chanted hymns to Krishna before taking their seats. In similar fashion, the goddess Savitri emerged from Krishna's tongue. Savitri is identified as a sacred mantra, Gayatri, or incantation of mantra. Manmadha or Madana, the god of love, was born from Krishna's consciousness. From Madana's left emerged his consort, his beautiful Rati. Agni, the god of fire, Varuna and Pavana or Vayu, the god of the wind, and their respective consorts, Svaha, Varunani and Vayavi, were they then created. A huge egg, Anda, was next born from Krishna. There was water everywhere in the universe at the time. The egg floated on the water, and from it then there emerged a gigantic figure. There was Mahavishnu. As he floated on the water, 2 demons named Madhu and Kaitabha emerged from the box in Mahavishnu's ears. As soon as the demons were born, they tried to kill Brahma. But Narayana crushed the demon between his thighs, and from the fat in the bodies of the demons was formed the ass. That is the reason why the ass is referred to as Medini. Time is divided into 4 eras or yugas. These are known as Satya Yuga or Krita Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dvapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. A complete cycle of 4 such yugas is called Mahayuga, and 360 such Mahayugas constitute a Divya Yuga, that is a yuga for the gods. 71 Divya Yugas make up a Manvantara era. One of Brahma's days lasts for as long as 14 Manvantaras. 360 of Brahma's days make up one of Brahma's years, and Brahma's lifespan is 108 such years. Thus large time span is only one nimesha, a small unit of time for Krishna, and is referred to us as a kalpa. There have been several kalpas, but the major ones are Brahma kalpa, Varaha kalpa and Padma kalpa. In Brahma kalpa, the earth was created with the fat of the demons Madhu and Kaitavha. In Varaha kalpa, the earth disappeared into the depths of the ocean and was rescued by Vishnu in his incarnation of a bull, Varaha. In Padma kalpa, Brahma sat on a lotus Padma at Vishnu's navel and created the three worlds of Bhurloka, Bhuvarloka and Svargaloka. In Goloka there is a beautiful region known as the Rasa Mandala. When Krishna was in Rasa Mandala, a beautiful girl emerged from Krishna's left. She was bejeweled and was only 16 years old. Since she made her appearance in Rasa Mandala or Rasa, she came to be known as Radha. From the pores of the Radha's body there emerged 100,000 crores of enchanting women known as gopis. From the pores of the Krishna's body there emerged another 30 crores of gopis. Cows, bulls, calves, horses, lions and swans also came out of Krishna's body. Shiva was presented a bull, Brahma a swan, Dharma a white stallion, and a Durga a lion. 5 wonderful chariots also emerged. One was given to Radha, one to Narayana, and 3 were retained by Krishna himself. Kubera, the god of wealth and prosperity, also emerged from Krishna's body, and Kubera himself created Manarama, his wife. Others who came out of different parts of Krishna's anatomy were Kubera's attendants, Guhyakas, Shiva's attendants, Bhutas, and Narayana's attendants, Parshvadas. Mahalakshmi and Saraswati were married to Narayana, Savitri to Brahma, Rati to Madana, and Manarama to Kubera. Krishna arranged the marriage. But when Krishna proceeded to give Durga away as a wife to Shiva, Shiva shied away from the offer. He wished to live the life on an ascetic. He did not want a wife. Krishna granted Shiva the boon that he would become an ascetic. But he also told Shiva that after 1 crore of kalpas were over, Shiva would accept Durga as his wife. For the moment Durga would reside with Krishna. Krishna then left for Vrindavana with all the gopis. But before he went, he gave Brahma a beautiful garland and asked him to pray to Krishna for 1,000 years of the gods. After the period of meditation was over, Brahma was to set about his task of creation. Brahma did as Krishna had asked him to. He first created the earth with the fat of the demons Madhu and Kaitavha. He next created many hills and 8 major mountains, named Shumeru, Kailasa, Malaya, Himalaya, Udachala, Ashtachala, Subela, and Ganhamadana. Brahma created several rivers and countless towns and villages. He created the 7 great oceans named Lavana, Ikshu, Sura, Sarpi, Dadhi, Dudha, and Jala. And the 7 regions, dvipas of the earth came next. These were Jambudvipa, Shakadvipa, Kushadvipa, Plakshadvipa, Kraumchadvipa, Naigrodhadvipa, Pushkaradvipa. Brahma next created the 7 regions, lokas, known as Bhurloka, Bhuvarloka, Svargaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, and Satyaloka. Above these he places the region known as the Brahmaloka and Dhruvaloka. He next created the 7 regions of the world underworld known as Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Patala, and Rasatala. All of these regions taken together constitute the universal egg or Brahmanda. There are countless such universal eggs in intrinsic form in the pores of Vishnu's body. But all the worlds that are in them are artificial, fragile, and inconstant, like a dream. The only lokas which are constant and imperishable are Vaikuntha-loka, Shiva-loka, and Goloka. Brahma's wife Savitri now mothered the 4 Vedas, sacred text, the 6 ragas, musical modes, and the 36 raginis, variation of musical modes. Each raga is conceived of as having 6 raginis as wives. The units of measuring time were then created. From Brahma's navel issued Vishvakarma, the architect of the gods. The 8 Vasus gods were born next. Through his mental powers, Brahma also created 4 sages named Sanaka, Sanandana, Sanantana, and Sanat Kumara. He asked the sons of his to carry on the task of creation. "We refuse," replied the son, and went away to meditate on the true nature of Krishna. This refusal infuriated the Creator so much that a fire issued out of his forehead. From this fire emerged Rudra, the destroyer. Many sages were born from Brahma's body: Purvasya from his right ear, Pulaha from his left ear, Kratu from his right ear, Arani from his right nostril, Angira from his left nostril, Shuchi from his mouth, Phrigu from his left side, Daksha from his right side, Kardama from his shadow, Panchapshika from his navel, Vadu from his chest, Narada from his neck, Marichi from his shoulders, Apantaratama again from his neck, Vasishka from his tongue, Pracheta from his underlip, Hamsa from his left armpit, and Yati from his right armpit. Brahma asked the sages to carry the act of creation forward. Narada refused, and Brahma once again lost his temper. He cursed Narada that he would be born as an evil and lustful Gandharva, singer of heaven, devoid of all knowledge of the Brahman, and subsequently as a son of a maid servant. Narada in turn cursed Brahma back that for 3 kalpas Brahma would not have his due share of the world's worship and respect. The other sages proceeded with the act of creation. From Marichi was born Rishi Kashyapa. Chandra was born of Atri. Gautama and Agastya were born from Pracheta and Puvasya respectively. From Brahma was also born a couple, the brilliant young man Swayambhu and his beautiful wife Shatarupa. Manu and Shatarupa had 3 daughters and 2 sons. The sons were Priyavrata and Uttanapadu. The daughters Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti were married to Ruchi, a sage, Kardama, another sage, and Daksha respectively. Daksha and Prasuti had 60 daughters. 27 of them were married to Chandra, 8 to Dharma, 11 to 11 Rudras, 13 to Kashyapa, and the remaining 1 to Shiva. Dharma's first wife, Murti, gave birth to the sages Nara and Narayana. The other wives gave birth to son named Santosha, contentment, Dharya, patience, and Harsha, joy, and so on. The sons of the Rudras became Shiva's attendants. Shiva himself married Sati, and she died at the sacrificial ceremony held in Daksha's house. Sati could not bear to stand the abuse that her father hurled at her husband on the occasion of the ceremony. She therefore immolated herself. Sati was subsequently reborn as Parvati, the daughter of Himalaya, and remarried Shiva. Chief amongst Kashyapa's wives were Aditi, the mother of the gods, Diti, the mother of the demons known as Daityas, Kadru, the mother of the snakes, Vinata, the mother of the birds, Surabhya, the mother of the cow and buffaloes, Sarama, the mother of the dogs, Zedano, the mother of the demons known as Danavas. The most important of Chandra's 27 wives was Rohini. Chandra loved Rohini more than all his other wives. He was so partial towards her that the other wives went and complained to their father. Daksha thereupon cursed his son-in-law that Chandra would contract tuberculosis and waste away. After Chandra had wasted away to half his early size, he went and sought refuge with Shiva. Shiva cured the moon god and put him in the safest place that could be found, Shiva's forehead. Chandra's wives went and complained again to their father. What they had wanted was their husband's love. They had not wanted to be separated from their husband. Daksha demanded that his son-in-law be returned, but Shiva refused to part with someone who had sought refuge with him. When the quarrel got out of hand, Krishna intervened. He split Chandra into two. One half stayed on Shiva's forehead, and the remaining half was returned to Daksha. Chandra learned his lesson as a result of this. He thereafter treated all his wives fairly, and no special favors were displayed towards Rohini. Chandra's 27 wives are identified with the 27 nakshatras or stars. To come back to the sages, Krigu's son was Chayavana and Kratu's son was a dwarf like Vavakhilya sage. Angira has three sons, Brihaspati, Utahya and Samhara. Vasishka's son was Shakti, who fathered Parashara. Parashara's son was Krishna Dvayapana Vedavyasa, and Vedavyasa's son was Shukadeva. Vishvashrava was the son of the sage Puvatya. Kubera, born of Krishna, was reborn as Vishvashrava's son. Thereby hangs a tale. Kubera had been the god of wealth and prosperity, and the sage Utahya had requested Kubera for 1 crore of gold coins. This sum was required so that Utahya could pay the fee dakshina to his teacher. When Kubera refused to oblige, Utahya cursed him that he would be reborn as Vishvashrava's son. Vishvashrava's other sons were Ravana, Kumbhakarna and Vibhishana. Pulahya's son was Svatasya, Ruchi's Shandilya, Gautama's Savarni, Kashyapa's Kashyapa, and Brihaspati's Bharadvaja. The 5 Gotras, clan names Kashyapa, Bharadvaja, Vatsya, Savarni, and Shandilya are derived from the corresponding names of these sages. Their descendants were Brahmanas, the first of the 4 classes. Other Brahmanas were born from Brahma's face. The son of Chandra, Surya, the sun god, and Manu were Kshatriyas. Other Kshatriyas were born from Brahma's arms. Vaishyas were born from Brahma's knees, and Shudras were born from his feet. Brahma determined certain relationship among people. The father is called Pita, Tata, and Janaka. The mother is called Mata, Amba, and Janani. The father's father is Pitamaha, and the mother's father is Matamaha. The Pitamaha's father is Prapitamaha, while the Matamaha's father is Pramataha Maha. The father's sister is called Pitrishvasa, and the mother's sister Masuri. Sunu, Tananya, Putra, Dayada, Thanabhaga, and Viryaja are words that connote the son. Duhita, Kanya, and Atmaja stand for the daughter. The son's wife is the Vadhu, and the daughter's husband the Jamatri. Pati, Priya, Bharta, Swami, and Kanta all stand for the husband. The husband's father is Shvashura, the mother Shvashuru, the mother Devara, the brother Devara, and the sister Nananda. Patni, Priya, Bharya, Stri, Kanta, Jaya are words that stand for the wife. The wife's father is a Shvashura, the mother Svashuru, the brother Shyalaka, and the sister Shyalika. The son's son is a Putra, and his son is a Praputra. The daughter's son is a Duhitra, and his son a Bandhava. A man's sister's son is a Pkagineya, and his son too is Bandhava. A man has 5 father figures: Janmadatta, one who gives life; Anadatta, the employer or patron who provides food; Bhayatrata, one who delivers from fear; Vidyadatta, the teacher; and Patnipita, the father-in-law. 14 women should be regarded as mothers. The mother's co-wife, if any; father-mother, mother's mother, father's sister, mother's sister; paternal uncle wife, maternal uncle wife; the teacher's wife, the employer or patron's wife; one's sister, daughter, and son's wife. Whomsoever one addresses as mother becomes like a mother and should be treated as such. Disrespect towards such a mother, for example towards the Guru Patni, teacher's wife, is a great sin. The sinner is sent to terrible hells when leeches and worms breed in fields and torment the sinner. A man should regard the teacher of a son or a daughter as a bhrata, brother. The bride's father and the groom's father should also regard each other as brothers. They are known as Vaivahika. Apart from such relationship, there are other relationships as well. They are known as Pritija, born out of action, such as that with a friend Mitra. These relationships are rare attainments in the world and must be treasured. I hope you have not forgotten that Narada had been cursed that he would be born as the son of Gandharva. On a Mount Ganhamadana there lived an aged Gandharva couple. Wealthy but childless, they prayed to Shiva for a son. Thanks to Shiva's boon, Narada was born to them as a son. As a family priest, Vasishtha named the boy Upa, extra Varhana worship, that is, the boy was one who would be shown extra reverence. As soon as Upavarhana became a yas, he started to meditate. There was a king of the Gandharvas named Chitrasena, and he had 50 daughters. These daughters wished to marry Upavarhana, and he was in no position to resist their request. That is how Upavarhana came to have 50 wives. Upavarhana once went to visit Brahma. There he saw the Apsara, dancer of heaven, named Ramha, dancing and could not control himself. He desired to marry Ramha. Also he had 50 wives of his own. This act so angered Brahma that he cursed Upavarhana that he would die. Malavati was Upavarhana's chief wife. When her husband died, she went wild with grief. She threatened to curse the gods Brahma, Shiva and Yama as being responsible for her husband's death. The alarmed gods fled to Vishnu for refuge. Vishnu adopted the pleasing form of a Brahmana youth and appeared before Malavati. He persuaded the gods that what needed to be done was to bring Upavarhana back to life. Brahma sprinkled water on the dead body and brought back its freshness. The sun god Surya restored sight, and the wind god Vayu gave the dead body breeze. But it was not until Krishna himself entered the heart of the dead body that Upavarhana came back to life. What may also interest you is the revelations that Vishnu made to Malavati about death and the various elements that cause death. Yama, the god of death, is the son of Surya. He is dark and has stout legs. Kala is a god who destroys. Kala is sometimes identified with Yama. Kala has 6 faces, 6 arms, 24 eyes and 6 legs. He is dark, wears red and carries Rudraksha beads in his hand. Kala has a dark complexioned wife named Mrityukanya. She has 6 arms and he is dressed in red. The Vaidhyas elements are the sons of Kala and Mrityukanya. Jara, old age, is the daughter. Usually Yama claims only those people whose lifespans have come to an end and to whom the 4 elements have been sent. The text that deals with the causes and curses of various elements is known as Ayurveda. This was composed by Brahma after Krishna had composed the 4 major Vedas. Ayurveda is the source of all medical texts and that were composed subsequently. Elements do not attack a person who keeps clean, oils his hair, ears and feet, washes his eyes with water, bathes in cool water, performs exercise, anoints his body with sandalwood paste, eats a controlled diet with lots of curds, but not at night, and above all does not sin. Let us return to Upavarhana. After a happy and relaxed life, Upavarhana died. So did Malavati. She died praying that no other than Upavarhana would be her husband in her next birth. She was born as the daughter of King Srinjaya, of the line of Manu. She was born as Jatismara, that is, she remembered the incidents of her earliest lives. Upavarhana was born as a son to Kalavati, the queen of the kingdom of Kanya Kubja. Before the prince's birth, the earth was experiencing a drought. Since the rain started as soon as the son was born, he came to be called Narada, water giver. Om Shakti Hrim, Om Namo Narayana, Om Klim Krishnaya.